Welcome into room 442. On today's show, Mikey, James, and Albert will be discussing which player they would sign to their team in this January transfer window. Mikey also brings back red card and yellow card. But first, let's take a deep dive into Arsenal. This time 2 years ago, Arsenal were in 11th place on 23 points. This time last season, they racked up 29 points and sat in 4th. And on Sunday, when Mikel Arteta's side make the short trip across town to face Tottenham Hotspur in the North London derby, the Gunners will be at the top of the Premier League table with only a single defeat all season. Under Arteta's stewardship and Martin Odegaard's captaincy in particular, Arsenal's form and belief has been steadily on the rise. And it's a far cry from that dismal start to the 2021-22 season that saw the Gunners rooted to the bottom of the table after 3 straight defeats in their opening league matches. But a hard-earned draw against Eddie Howe's resurgent Newcastle last weekend saw Arsenal's lead at the top of the table cut to just 5 points. And by Sunday afternoon, that margin could be even more slender if Man City can overcome their own crosstown rivals in Saturday's Manchester derby. Either way, the Gunners now face a decisive month of fixtures in their quest to achieve a first Premier League title since Arsene Wenger's Invincibles back in 2004. After the Tottenham game, Arsenal will host Manchester United before traveling to face Manchester City in the 4th round of the FA Cup. Then they'll line up against Everton and Brentford, 2 teams who beat the Gunners last season, before facing City again on February 15th. Without the injured Gabriel Jesus, Arsenal currently only have one recognized striker. But 21-year-old Eddie Nketiah has stepped up to score 4 goals in as many games since the season resumed last month. And in search of reinforcements, Shakhtar Donetsk's Mykhailo Mudryk is strongly linked with a January move to the Emirates, while former Chelsea talisman Eden Hazard is also a reported target, having fallen out of favor at Real Madrid. Whether or not they can bolster their attacking options, Arsenal face a make-or-break month in the race for the Premier League title. Will they still be out in front or dragged back into the mix after this run of tough fixtures? All right, so will Arsenal be able to maintain their form? I'm joined with James and Mikey. Gentlemen, Arsenal, what a story it's been this season. Mikey shaking his head already. Top of the table with 44 points, 5 points clear of Manchester City. But up next, they have 6 very difficult fixtures. Let me read them out to you guys. Tottenham up first this weekend, North London derby. Man United, City, Everton, Brentford, and then City again. The first City match is the 4th round of the FA Cup. James, how do you think Arsenal will kind of come out of these 6 fixtures? Will they still be at the top of the Prem?
Well, I mean, this is the definitive moment for their season, isn't it? This is so important. They've played so well. Every time they've had an excuse to kind of lose their form so far this campaign, they haven't done it. They've responded with a performance. And I think from a performance standpoint, they've been the best team so far this season, week in and week out, from a consistency standpoint, which is what we were concerned about before with this team. Can they be consistent? Now, we should mention it's still not even halfway through the campaign, right? Still much can go wrong. We discussed, I think, last week about how this window is really important for this side. Who can they sign? Who are they going to sign? Is the depth there right now? But I'm confident they'll get through this next stretch pretty well. Forget about the Cups, right? I know City's coming up, and that's obviously huge. You want to do well in the Cups, but this is all about the Premier League and getting back in that top 4. And don't forget, before this season started, the goal was top 4. It wasn't to win the thing. This is gravy at this point. So as much as they'll be feeling pressure, and they should feel pressure, top 4, it probably is still the goal. If they can push through this little next 6 weeks or so and remain in first place, then they'll be truly believing in themselves, I think.
Right. Now, Mikey, they play Manchester United. Now, United have also been a team that have turned it around, actually, and they're starting to look really decent. We'll see what happens in the transfer window with them, obviously. But that game should be, I feel like, one of the best matchups out of those 6. What do you think is going to happen between those 2 sides?
Yeah, you're right. It's 2 sides that are trending in the right direction. Arsenal came in looking pretty much, I don't want to say invincible, but invincible until they dropped points to Newcastle, right? And now they've hit that first speed bump that was inevitably going to happen this season. Everybody was waiting for when it's going to happen. The reality is, if you look at the teams behind them, Manchester City, sure, they're probably the favored team to actually win the Premier League despite Arsenal's lead. But then behind Man City, you have Tottenham, you have Manchester United, who are right there as well. Obviously, Newcastle's in that mix as well. So it's not just they're being chased by one team. They're being chased by a bunch of teams who are in really good form. And between Manchester United and Arsenal, if Man U find a way to somehow, some way come away with all 3 points like they did earlier this season, you're turning the heat up on this Arsenal side, and we'll see how they react to, I guess, being under pressure, because they haven't really been in that position yet this season. They haven't slipped up yet. That's what's going to be the real test. And if they can find a way to prevail through that turbulence, which is inevitably going to come, then maybe they have a chance here of going all the way.
But what's key, though, is that you didn't mention Liverpool or Chelsea in that, right?
Yeah.
Because they've been so poor this year by their standards, right? This is one of those weird anomalies where both those teams are having off seasons. And there's a big open opportunity now for a lot of clubs to make that big step, right? And Arsenal are taking full advantage of it. You know, no one thought they'd be in first place at this point.
Yeah.
We're seeing other teams taking advantage too, but it's a kind of a strange season. But you finish in top four. Forget, like I said before, you forget first place. You finish top four, it changes your whole planning for the next 5 years.
So if Arsenal finish top 4 in this season, is that a successful season at this point of the year?
It has to be.
Mikel
Yep.
Arteta's side?
This time last year, right?
Will
We're talking
they
about
perceive
firing
it?
Mikel Arteta.
Will they perceive it as a
This-
success?
I
this
think
time
finishing
last
top
year.
4 would be great for Arsenal. But guys, sorry, I need to just ask you this really quickly. January transfer window is open. Jesus is injured. Who are they looking to sign? I know there's Eden Hazard rumors. I think that's
Eden
ridiculous.
Hazard rumors. Wow.
It would be embarrassing. The biggest one, though, is Mikhailo Mudryk from Shakhtar. But what do you think? Who's the guy they need to take to replace Jesus?
Well,
right
Mudryk's
now?
a big one, right?
Yeah.
He's been so good this year in Europe. Worth a lot of money. That could be an £80 million signing. That'd be a transformative signing for this team that hasn't spent that much money. That'd be a record signing. He wants to be there. He's putting out tweets right now and Instagram posts saying, I want to be an Arsenal player. So I think that's going to happen. And that'll be key for this team. And then when you bring back Jesus, watch out. Rose coming back soon now as well from injury.
Yeah.
I think this team's going to be in really good shape.
Mikey, really quick.
If it's not Mudryk, I'm looking at a Canadian, Jonathan David. For
I had to
the
get it in
Love it.
there.
Arsenal team. Come on, that would be such a perfect fit.
Well, their only time will tell, so we'll see. But guys, that's it for me today. James, what do we have coming up next?
This guy, red card, yellow card, play on.
Everybody's
our favorite
favorite
game
segment.
show
Thank
of
you.
Room 442. And then later today, Albert, Mikey, myself, we'll look at our favorite teams and what we would like to see our teams do this window.
That's a fun segment. I like that, guys. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Hello and welcome back to Room 442. James Sharman here with you. As promised, it's time now for red card, yellow card, play on. Mikey Singh is the quiz master. Albert's back in the set here. All right, Mikey, take it away.
All right, just quickly, quick refresher for the rules. Red card, I'm going to say statement. If you show me a red card, it means they completely disagree with my statement. Yellow card, they can kind of see it. They're going to caution me. And if they totally agree with what I'm about to say, play on. So, simple enough. James, I'm going to start with you. If the Premier League season were to end today, Mikel Arteta would win Manager of the Year.
Oh, that's a good one. With all the respect to Thomas Frank, who's done some great work so far, all due respect to Erik ten Hag, who has dealt with a really tough situation at United with Ronaldo, I am
Howe?
all about that.
Eddie Howe as well.
Eddie Howe at Newcastle, superb. Yeah, I mean, there's a great race for the best gaffer. At this point, in the first place is Mikel Arteta. This time last year, as I mentioned in the earlier block, he was getting fired. They've been the best team. They've dropped very few points. I think 7 on the campaign so far. The best team in English football right now is Arsenal, and we weren't saying that this time last year. So yeah, very much I agree with that.
Yeah, they're overachieving to maybe a different level. That, like you said, all due respect to Newcastle out there. This one's for you. We were having this chat a little bit, and you guys talking about Zidane yesterday got me thinking. Pep Guardiola is overrated as a manager.
Overrated?
As a manager.
Oh, come on. Mikey, are you crazy? Red card. No way. We're talking about one of the greatest managers of all time and probably the best manager right now. As a manager, he's done it all. He's won the Bundesliga, multiple Premier Leagues, La Ligas, Champions League. He's literally done everything. And people say, well, he had Lionel Messi at Barcelona. There's a lot of managers who had Lionel Messi at Barcelona didn't win anything. There's a lot of managers who went to Bayern and didn't win anything. There's a lot of managers who went to Manchester City and didn't win anything. He's done it all. And he's not only that, he is such a good manager. His assistant, he let him go to Arsenal, and now that assistant and Arsenal are challenging Manchester City for the title.
He's also transformed the way leagues play football as well,
Yeah.
the way the game's played, I think. You look at English football pre-Pep and now post-Pep, it's a different league entirely.
It is.
Right? And that's because of him.
Klopp too as
Yeah,
well. But
sure.
the reason I'm saying that, listen, he walked into Xavi, Iniesta, Messi. There's not a lot of managers that are going to.
But Mike, it's what you do with the players on the field.
Which is amazing. I want to see Pep Guardiola have to rebuild a side. And build a side up from the bottom with not unlimited deep
But he's not in that
pockets.
position. Why would he do that?
He came from La Masia too, remember?
Right.
He came from that program too, right? So he brought those players with him. So, yeah, I mean, I understand what you're saying.
Yeah,
I love
really
the
big head
stripped-down
start.
approach.
Yeah.
Right?
He did it at Barcelona to a certain degree, though, right? There was quite a lot of turnover at that team in that era.
Yeah.
But you always had Messi, Iniesta,
And deep
and Xavi,
pockets.
right?
And
deep
not, and not,
pockets,
and not
yeah.
just a successful manager. He's adjusted the style of football. The way they play in England. James, going back as far as you can, not many English teams played
From the
out from
back.
the back.
No.
Yeah.
Right? It was Route 1 football.
Yep.
Basically the way
No,
Burnley...
I mean, Route 1, you're right.
Right, for the most
Route
part.
1 was a while back, though.
Yes,
It
for-
has changed over the years, but it's been, I think, completely transformed since Pep's arrived.
Remember when
100%.
Sheffield United were in the Premier League, playing with a back three and playing out of the back? No, but I'm serious.
Yeah.
You wouldn't have seen that
Well,
before.
Neil Warnock, in my opinion, is the
Oh.
greatest manager of all time. So.
I love Neil Warnock.
Well, I think what we need to see and what the people want to see is Pep Guardiola do it at New York City FC.
No,
Maybe we'll see it happen.
nobody wants to see that.
All right, James, this
Like
one's
it
for
does.
you. Actually, I'll throw it to both of you. I'll throw it to James first. Liverpool will finish ahead of Spurs in the Premier League this season.
Oh, just stirring the pot, aren't you?
I think we have a little bit of catch on this, don't we? It's
We
not
do.
official yet,
We
but
do.
go ahead.
Yeah, I'm going to say absolutely. Yeah,
Play on?
100%. Yeah, play on.
Never seen a ref do that.
No, but they're about to.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm transforming the way referees communicate their signals. I do. I think Spurs are playing above themselves in many regards. So far, it's been a weird season so far. We're only halfway through. Liverpool will get better. They're going to improve. I know it's been a poor campaign so far. I understand that. I understand the issues in the midfield. But I'm seeing Núñez score last week. He's going to find his goal-scoring boots. Yeah, they're going to finish them. It may not be top four. I hope it is. It may not be top four, but I think they'll finish above Spurs.
I've been a Spurs fan long enough to know that this is possible. But with that said, I'm going to go yellow card. Can't lift it up. I'm going to go yellow card. I really believe that you said Spurs are kind of punching above their weight. I do too, but they've played a lot of bad football and still got results. And I think with Antonio Conte wanting to strengthen in January, which could happen, and you're going to get a lot of players back from injury. Bentancur, Richarlison, two key players. Kulusevski, we keep talking about one of the best playmakers. I think Spurs will make a pretty good run at it come the end of the season. And for Liverpool, I just think that at the moment, there's a lot that's not right about that team. And not having Virgil van Dijk for, 6 weeks? To me, the key player for Liverpool and that defense that's already leaking goals with him in the lineup, I think Liverpool are really going to struggle to get into the top four, let alone finish above Spurs.
But my suspicion with Spurs is they still can't play 90 minutes. They can't do it.
Yeah.
So again, last week, right, they play really well for 45, usually the second half.
Pretty strong 45, yeah.
Yeah, really good
No,
45,
you're right.
but
you're
know,
right.
I just don't trust that kind of team.
Yeah.
Let's separate the
No,
two.
I think we're on the same page, actually.
Yeah, I think so.
I think we're on the same page.
It's not so much hate.
Yeah.
At
There's
this
lots of
point.
love here in this room.
Let's see when they go off camera. All right. I'm going to say, switching things over to Serie A just really quickly. Napoli obviously were the story of the first half of the year. They had their first slip up 2 match days ago, dropping to Inter Milan, their first loss of the Serie A season. They have a 7-point lead right now. I'm saying that they're going to blow their 7-point lead
Oh.
and not win Serie A this season. James, what do you think?
So is it going to be Milan again? Are they going to break through? I'm going to give you a red card. I like Napoli a lot. They bounced back with a win, right? From that loss to Inter Milan.
They did.
They've been so good this year. That's their first loss of the entire season, don't forget. They've got young players getting better each week. I can't pronounce. Who's the what's his name?
Kvaratskhelia.
Gosh, yeah, that one. Yeah. He's going to be an absolute superstar, right? If not already. He's wonderful. I love the way they rebuilt that team when Insigne left.
Yeah.
And the rest of Serie A ain't that strong. It just isn't. It's inconsistent. Inter Milan's inconsistent. So yeah, I'm going to say no. They're going to be Napoli. Are going to be the first champions since 1990, I think. Maradona.
It would be such a fantastic story if Napoli do find a way to kind of turn this thing around. Producer Ellie, how much time we have left? Okay, perfect. Just enough time to get this last question in. I'll throw it to both of you.
All right.
Let me start with James. Red card, yellow card is the best game show segment. 442.
Oh, well, you know what? Listen, I'm
you already know where I'm
happy to
going.
sell out, and I'm going to say.
Play
Sure.
on.
But you asked me the same question on Birdie's Brainbusters.
But let's be honest.
Yeah, I'm going to be.
Yeah, it's
We can be honest in here.
I like them both.
It's a safe
I
space.
find I'm under a lot more pressure on Birdie's Brainbusters. Like
Right.
that, I have genuine fear.
It's more challenging, right?
So I enjoy this one more. But I'm when I win that,
Honesty.
I feel too great.
Honesty. What's your argument?
Burt's Brainbusters is the best show on
Check the rating.
television.
Check the rating.
Let alone Room 442.
All right, it's time for a break. We love you both anyway.
Yeah.
When we come back, we'll have a look at our favorite teams and who we think they should sign. It could get a little bit feisty.
He's laughing already.
Welcome back to Room 442. As you know, right now is the January transfer window. So many rumors, so many signings, so much nonsense. We thought we'd look at our favorite teams, and if we were making signings and had lots of money available, who would be the player, realistically, we would sign this window? All right, Albert, let's start with you, shall we? You're obviously a Spurs fan, a proud Tottenham Hotspur fan. Who is your dream target?
Well, this isn't nonsense. You're smirking. This is a sensible transfer. Can we pull up the board? These guys are making fun of me for this. Marcelo Brozovic from Inter Milan to Spurs. I know at the moment at Spurs, okay, there's some needs there, right? You need a creative midfielder. You need a right back. I know they're looking at Denzel Dumfries from Inter as well. They need a center back. But I think they need a really, really good holding midfielder in Brozovic to allow a player like Bentancur to play make. Because right now, Bentancur, he's out with some injury, but he plays alongside Højbjerg in more of a double pivot defensive role. But he's one of our more creative players. And we have another creative player in Kulusevski. So you bring in Brozovic. He's already won the Scudetto with Antonio Conte. He knows what he demands. Last season, the best midfielder in Serie A. This is a very good player at an affordable price. I mean, according to Transfer Market, he's around 30, 35 million. Not sure what the deal would be. Could be like a loan deal to buy in the summer, something like that. But I think with Spurs, the rebuild is to, I know they're not winning, but the rebuild is to win now. If you want to back Conte, you want to keep him here. James is still smiling at me. I think you got to go for Brozovic.
No, listen, I think he's a really, really good player.
I'm huge. I'm big on him.
He would unlock the key.
Yes.
That's Kulusevski. I get all that. It's just gonna scream Spurs the
It's
ambition.
such a
You have
Spurs
one player to
signing.
choose. Your dream signing, right?
Well,
within reason.
Okay.
I know that.
We'll get to, okay.
You tell most Spurs fans out there,
Yes.
okay, you got a dream signing. Dan Levy will agree to $40 million.
It's
right?
a sensible deal.
It's sensible,
Right.
Precisely. It's
Very
sensible.
Spurs, 30
We know
years
what's sensible.
old,
Yes.
from Inter Milan, has kind of already reached his peak.
Is that gonna
maybe
lift you
over
to the next
hill
level?
in the next year or two?
It's a one important piece to the puzzle, and they wouldn't be done there.
So that'd be the one signing you think is a priority that Spurs need
No,
to
not
do.
a priority, but if I'm looking for a player to bring in that can help the team right now, it's him.
All right. Hey, listen.
All right.
You can't
Yeah,
doubt
let's
the
hear-
man.
let's hear
We
this,
gave him a job to do, and he did the job, didn't he?
You'd be
All right,
sacked.
Mikey, you're
You'd
up.
be sacked if
Oh,
you were
that's a
Sporting
fantastic-
Director.
United,
Sorry.
of course. We know that you're a United fan. You remind us all the time.
Yeah.
Who
Very
you
good
got?
club. So this one was tough to come up with.
Of course.
Harry Kane from Albert's Tottenham Hotspur. I don't think we need to explain it too much, but I'll explain how we can convince them. One, guaranteed role up top, right?
How to convince the board, see Carrick and Berbatov?
You have examples that have worked out from Tottenham that have gone to Manchester United and have become prolific players for that club. See Carrick and Berbatov. All right, Harry Kane's 29 years old. He might be getting up there in age. He may be hesitant about playing such a big transfer fee for someone that old. However, see Casemiro, another player that has clearly worked out so far for Manchester United, who is getting up there in age. You need win-now type players to get this side to the next level. You need proven commodities here in England in the Premier League. And I think that's an easy way to convince the board. And of course, he's also the face of England. So you talk about his shirt sales. That'll cover his weekly wages. We know there'll be such a big appetite for Manchester United fans to get Harry Kane aboard. That part's a no-brainer. Now, to convince Harry Kane, guaranteed role, 2, you gotta finally leave Tottenham Hotspur.
That's not nice.
Think about it.
Nice.
Harry Kane, I have some stats here. 5 times PFA Team of the Year, 3-time Premier League Golden Boot winner, 1-time FIFA World Cup Golden Boot winner, England's all-time leading scorer, 2-time EFL Cup runner-up, 1-time UEFA Champions League runner-up. You know what I didn't say in that stat, that accolades? A goddamn trophy. Harry Kane has yet to win a trophy, and we can't consider him one of the best strikers in the world until he wins a trophy.
No,
so
that's
why
not
not go and get his legacy to that next level with Manchester United,
I
a
think
team
it's
that
a
wins
perfect
trophies?
fit for United. You'll never get him for 90 million euros.
No, and it's a
Not
lateral move.
Not a chance in hell. 100 million
So his
pounds
contract is
plus.
up at the end of
Doesn't matter.
2024.
Yes, it's January, right? We're trying to negotiate
Yeah.
right now.
Mikey, it's a lateral move. United and Spurs
lateral
they're
move.
battling for the same spot.
Here we
Tottenham in the
go.
Champions League. Manchester United still have to play Barcelona just to get into the knockout to the Europa League. What are you talking about?
Here
What are
we
you talking
go.
about here?
Come on. Tottenham is not at
Tottenham?
Tottenham. Tottenham, let me say it in my chest, is not at Manchester United's level.
Listen,
Come on,
I
son.
wonder if it's time for Spurs to entertain that they could sell him and make a lot of money and then rebuild that team, perhaps with the
Probably
Brozovic
should
of
have
the
happened
world.
last season, right?
And-
that was
yeah.
the move.
Yeah.
Well, listen, Real Madrid's been linked today with Harry Kane,
Right.
as well. We'll see, but 90 million euros, you're having a laugh. There's no chance. It's north of 100 million pounds, I think, just because he is England's captain as well, and you're guaranteeing yourself 25 plus goals. All right, to my obviously a Liverpool fan, I've never hit that, right? Even when I've wanted to. But the player that if I had the money and the ear of the board, I'd go after, and obviously it's a huge rumor right now. The story's all over the media. It's Jude Bellingham from Borussia Dortmund. It'll be a record fee, 227 million euros. Right now they're talking around 210 million euro deal. How you convince him to come to Liverpool, a team that right now is outside Champions League spots? Guaranteed role. Future captain of the team, right? Your son is brother Joe from Birmingham, all right? All right, that's being talked about right now as well. You
Yeah.
give his old man a job as a scout, which, by the way, there are reports out they are offering perhaps Jude Bellingham's dad a role at the club as well. And listen, it's Liverpool, right? How many legendary players have come to Liverpool and got the key to that city, from Kenny Dalglish to Ian Rush to John Barnes to Mo Salah? Wonderful footballers.
Do you
They
want
love
the key
playing
to
there.
Liverpool? Is Liverpool
It's
a nice place to have a key
listen,
to?
until you go there, don't judge it. You convince the board, though, because, as I mentioned, listen, 19 years old, a superstar right now, the face of the club for 15 years, at least moving forward. You've got to rebuild that midfield at some point. You have to. You build it around him. He will one day be the future England captain, all right?
You
That's
really-
guaranteed. I really believe that.
Yeah,
You,
When Harry
really
Kane-
sell it, because it's going to be really tough to convince Liverpool's board to go buy the best young midfielder in the world. It's going to be really
For
tough.
227 million
How
euros.
crucial, James, right now is Liverpool needs to finish in the top 4.
It's absolutely key.
Right?
Yeah. Listen, okay, his buddies Trent Alexander-Arnold, Klopp and him have some history. But yeah, you got to finish top 4. You can't tell Jude Bellingham you're going to miss out in the Champions League for a year. I mean, it has happened in the past. Clubs have signed star players saying, "Give us 1 year, get us to the Champions League, and then we'll start paying you properly." But I don't know.
Do
I mean,
Klopp
obviously,
and
it's a
him
fit.
really have history? Like, he was like 13 at the time. Klopp's their first team coach. Can you really say they have history?
They know each other. Okay, they know each other, and Trent's been just selling Liverpool on Bellingham throughout Euro. So yeah, anyway, that was a fun segment.
Yes, it
I
was.
mean,
Minus what
I
Mikey
love
was saying.
Albert. Albert. What a dreamer you are. What a dreamer you are, Albert. All right, it's room 442. We're back tomorrow.